While the Milky Way was certainly the most action-packed galaxy of the 93rd universe, it was still only one of countless galaxies undergoing the Prima Guardian event. Wars were happening everywhere, innumerable planets falling every day, with even more overcoming what many believed to be the final system-made test for the newly integrated planets. To many, this event was a challenge one was simply meant to overcome, and a disaster for the planet due to the large number of dead innocents dealing with the armies of regular Primas. However, to others, this was nothing more than an opportunity. Massive factions made use of this time to truly stabilize themselves, using the excuse of a common threat to unite everyone under their banner if they had failed to do so earlier. It was also a great opportunity to make contact with native factions that had yet to fully integrate themselves with multiversal factions and bring them into the fold. Valhall, the Holy Church, the Altmar Empire, the Primordial Church, Beastfolk tribes, Risen, and a vast array of divine factions gladly exploited any and all opportunities to get a foothold in the new universe, preparing for what was to come when the universe opened up to the rest of the multiverse. To make things even better, this type of recruitment using the event even had a built-in test of sorts. The planets facing their Prima Guardian alone would only join the alliance after achieving victory, proving that they had at least some level of competency that made them worth recruiting. As for those who failed to deal with their Prima Guardians, well, that didn't mean these were a lost cause, they just wouldn't be claimed by factions of the enlightened races. Because while a planet falling to the event was a disaster in the eyes of the enlightened races, it was an opportunity for the monster races. The Prima Guardian was not a creature made to rule a planet, nor to be the beast king that suppressed every other monster. It was just a tool from the system to turn the planetary pylon into a planetary core, should the enlightened fail to beat it. Shortly after accomplishing this task, the Prima Guardian would once more go to the surface of the planet, having fulfilled its role. From there, it would wait until the system event expired, and when that happened, the Prima vessel would disappear, reclaimed by the seat of the exalted Prima, and the Prima Guardian would naturally die. However, with its role fulfilled, the Prima Guardian wasn't sure to survive. With the event effectively over, it was no longer immune to attacks from native beasts, and even its bond with the regular Primas would be severed. A system notification would be sent to all monsters, letting them know that another event had begun, this one aimed at them, with their goal the same as that of the enlightened: kill the Prima Guardian and claim the key. The Prima vessel would still disappear after the event was done, and these monsters wouldn't join the Prima Guardian Alliance or anything like that, but they could qualify as contenders for claiming the seat of the exalted Prima, the same as many world leaders of the universe. While it wasn't always equal, the system did tend to act fairly and not discriminate based on whether one was a monster or an enlightened. Each had its own advantages and disadvantages, and while the enlightened certainly had more system events, it was because the monsters had already possessed inborn natural advantages during the integration, and unlike the enlightened, they had been helped along by unique items provided by the system. Overall, the monster population of planets did tend to surpass the enlightened, with the enlightened usually only doing well due to their cohesion. Monsters were simply far worse at working together, as evidenced by the mere fact that major factions in the multiverse primarily consisted of enlightened races. Even the powerful monster factions, such as the Dragonflights, were only cohesive due to all being dragons and generally very humanoid in how they acted, and even they had plenty of internal conflicts, as different variants of dragons didn't always get along. Factions with beasts or monsters of multiple races all working together were remarkably rare, and it was really only seen with the United Tribes. Even there, the name itself communicated that it was just a large alliance of many different tribes coming together to rival the truly massive factions of the multiverse. It also had to be pointed out that most factions were totally fine with monsters joining them, though it tended to only happen in higher grades after they achieved humanoid forms. Even the Holy Church had its fair share of monsters, as even they could undergo a baptism. This being the case, many monsters chose to just join an established faction rather than make one with other monsters. Anyway, Prima Guardians winning on planets tended to end up as a victory for the monsters, with a planet then turning into a world nearly devoid of enlightened. The few that happened to survive were left far from being able to claim themselves the rulers, and as the generations passed, there was a good chance they would even lose contact with the rest of the multiverse unless other factions came by their planets. Some monsters, however, made very sure that the enlightened were either entirely wiped out or placed under control.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.